Hello, dear students. Welcome to today's Literature in English lesson. I'm happy to inform you that today we shall be looking at a non-African poem, a poem by Sir Alfred Tennyson, Crossing the Bar. Crossing the Bar. By way of starting, let us quickly look at what the scripture has to say about today's lesson. Our Bible reference is taken from the book of Acts, chapter 21, verse 13. There, the Apostle Paul says, "Then Paul answered, What mean ye to weep and to break mine heart? For I am ready not to be bound only, but also to die at Jerusalem for the name of the Lord." There we have Apostle Paul confidently talking, ready to face death, not scared of death. Prophet Agabus had told him that if he should go to Jerusalem, he would be arrested there. But he, in response, categorically stated that he would not mind being arrested. In fact, dying would be an honor. This scriptural reference has a connection, or has sheds light on what we are looking at today about the courage, demystifying death, the courage to face death when it comes. So that gives us an idea of what our expectations in this study, in this lesson, is going to be, even though it's a revision class. So at the end of the class, everyone is expected to be able to comment on the background to the life of the poet, Sir Alfred Tennyson, recite key parts of the poem, if not the entire poem. So everyone should even be able to recite the entire poem. It is also expected that everyone should be able to explain and summarize the poem and discuss the themes in the poem. So, what is the poem? Crossing the Bar. This is a poem of 4 stanzas. So there we have the poem, Crossing the Bar. Let me read the poem before we go into the nitty-gritty of today's lesson. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me. And may there be no morning of this bar when I put out to sea. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark. May there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. That is the poem. But before we look at the summary and analysis of the poem, let's quickly look at a background about the poet himself, Sir Alfred Tennyson. Sir Alfred Tennyson was the son of a clergyman. He was educated. He is referred to as poet laureate in the UK because he wrote a lot of poems. And looking at his background as the son of a clergy, and in fact this poem was written after he recovered from an illness, like a year or 2 years before his death. He lived for 83 years. He was born in 1809 and died in 1892. So he wrote this poem at the twilight of his life, when he was already very old and he was nearing his grave. So with these two background, a religious man, son of a clergyman who had religious inclination and background, and now about to die, you can imagine the Christian morality, Christian doctrines that we exude from that kind of man. And that is what we see in this poem, that as someone who believes that death is not the end of a man, as taught by the Christian faith, he is putting this into play in this poem. So let's quickly press forward and now analyze the poem stanza by stanza. Let's quickly look at stanza 1. Let's read it again. Sunset and evening star, one clear call for me, and may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. Here we have term, a nautical term, bar. Bar is a mound of sand by the seashore which a ship or a boat we have to cross to set sail. It's like when it's at harbor, it's like a shock. Like, when you park a car, you put maybe a piece of stone to shock the tire. Yes, a bar is like that, but this time around it's a mound of sand which serves to block the ship or boat. So but the moment the boat is pulled across the bar, then it gets sailing. Now it's also using the weather or the stages of in a day: sunset and evening star. Sunset is the time that night is drawing near. It is in the evening, like late evening before the night finally crawls in. So sunset and evening star. Evening star, star there, evening star, or even ordinarily a star, is reminiscent of the star that heralded the birth of Jesus. So this star is passing the message across. Star heralded the birth of Christ, and here, the poet Alfred Tennyson is using star again to announce the exit, or the time of exit of a man from the surface earth. So sunset here is metaphorically the time of old age. It is said that there are 3 times for man: morning, afternoon, and night, or sunset. So his own night is almost setting in, and the sunset means the close of the day. It means the person speaking in these lines or in this stanza is already in his old age and is nearing the time of death, and there is a sign that you are about to die, and that is the evening star pointing to him. And what is the star saying? What is the sunset? What is the message the sunset and evening star passing across to this individual? Is making one clear call for him. One clear call. What call is that? Call to business? Oh, it is call to homecoming or homegoing. It is a call to leave the planet, the earth, for the hereafter. So, and this man wishes that there will be no moaning of the bar when he sets out to the sea. Now, using the journey motif of traveling by the sea, because that around that time, 1892, the biggest means of transportation then was by the sea. So when I put out to the sea, going to somewhere, and he wishes that there will be no money. And now if you look at the tone of this answer, sunset and evening star, one clear call for me, and may there be no money of the bar when I put out to sea. You see the excitement in the voice, in the tone. You see the excitement, the willingness to answer the call to leave the earth, the call to depart the world, the call to go to the hereafter, to go to the great beyond, and to sail to meet his creator outside the planet earth. So you will see here someone embarking on a journey, someone excited that, oh, it's time of the journey is here, and I'm willing and ready to embark on the journey. So that is what that stanza is saying. We will see a repeat of this stanza when we get to stanza 3, but let's quickly look at stanza 2. In stanza 2, it says, but such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, too full for sound and foam. You see that alliteration there in that lines too. When that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Now, one of the natural thing that is that characterizes the natural things that characterize um, journey by sea or voyage is the turbulence of the sea. You remember the Titanic? Fine. So his mind, he expects the tide will be full, carrying him smoothly. He looks for a peaceful transition. So just as he comes into the world peacefully, he hopes that he will also live peacefully, that there will be no turbulence, there will be all the sea creatures, the whales, the big animals in the sea that would have caused turbulence, that would have rocked the boat or the ship, would have gone to the deep to have their quiet, to sleep. So you see, he reflected in this stanza his inner contentment and absorption into the natural process of life and death. So he believes that there should be no mourning. There should be no mourning. You know, the sea moans at night. He doesn't want that. He wants a safe journey. Now, please, this is a kind of dramatic monologue. He wants to set out to see sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me, and may there be no mourning of the bar when I set out to sea. Now setting out to sea, now that he's on, he looks forward to being on the sea, and he makes his wishes known as regards how the journey should be. Now let us look at what stanza 3 is saying about the journey. In stanza 3, this is parallel to stanza 1 in terms of structure. It's parallel, and in terms of almost content too, because we have here twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark. Twilight and sunset are similar time, evening time, and evening bell announces night for prayer, closure of the day, particularly church bell, bang, bang, and when that happens, the dark there is symbolic of death, is symbolic of dying. And he now cautions, because when people die like that, people will be crying, and he says, may there be no sadness or farewell. When people are saying, when they are going for the funeral and they are crying, and there's the elegy and crying, no, he doesn't want that, because it is homegoing. He's not departing the world, he's going home. He has gone back to where he came from. That is just what he's saying. And may there be no sadness or farewell. Somebody has gone back home. Why should you be crying? Somebody's mission here is done, and the person is going back home. So there is no point crying, weeping, wailing, and rolling on the floor. He doesn't want that. Now, with the onset of twilight and ringing of the evening bell, the day comes to an end and darkness pitches in. So he here doesn't want anybody to lament or to get worried about his leaving the earth. So can we see the link between stanza 1 and stanza 3? Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me. Here he doesn't want the demony of the bar. He doesn't want his journey to be characterized by the sea roaring, and a peaceful journey. And finally, when he has left, the people left behind shouldn't be mourning, crying, or sad. Now, he then in the last stanza says that, for though from out our born of time and place, the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. When I have crossed the bar to the other side. Now, out our born of time and place. This place is limited by time. This side of eternity is limited by time. But when you have crossed to the other side, there's no time again. And so you move into a new place, and the flood, that is the sea, will bear him far and take him safely home. And when he has taken him far away to his destination, he hopes to see his pilot face to face. Who is that pilot? Somebody is in the boat, but that pilot is not seen. When he embarks on the journey, the pilot who has come to conduct him must have the pilot. Imagine the pilot is on the other hand and not on the boat. Can you see that? So there's somebody who piloted his affair while on earth, or somebody who is piloting his affairs while on earth. So he hopes to see that person. And guess who that should be? Who should his pilot be? Whom he would like to see face to face? Of course, that should be his God, and that is God, of course. So when he has crossed the bar, he means to meet with his God. So here we have a man who has demystified death, who does not dread death, who is not afraid of death, who is confident and ready to meet with death, and because he sees death as a passage to eternal rest, to going home. So in a nutshell, quickly, so what do we learn from this? Crossing the bar means navigating a difficult. It can also, by implication, it means this could also mean navigating a difficult spot, a difficult situation in life. So we see the poem portrays life as a voyage everyone must take, hoping that we will all find acceptance on crossing the bar of life. So death is never an end, rather a new beginning, of course. Making the journey of life complete. Without death, the journey of life is not complete. So everyone must have a taste of death to make his journey here on earth a complete one. So the urge to reach the land beyond time and place makes one forgo the worldly aspects of life and accept the inevitable death. So one should not be worried about this, what happens here on earth, because you know that you're going to meet with your Savior in the hereafter. Now, quickly, what are the themes? The themes that we find in this poem. Yes, here we have a man talking about a grief-free farewell. The poetic persona has it emphasized in the poem that no one should feel bad. So he doesn't want everybody to be afraid of death. He wants everybody to be confident that nobody should be crying because of death. And we see another theme there, courage in the face of death. Yes, when death comes, you see him say, sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me. You see that confidence, courage in the face of death. And just may there be no mourning of the bar when I set out to sea. And in stanza 3, may there be no mourning of farewell when I am back. So it doesn't work. So that's courage. That is courage in the face of death. Death should not be feared by us. Now, another thing is life after death. You see, this man he makes us realize that there is life after death. This life, that's why I said the other time that it's not an end in itself. It's a means to another end. Death itself is not an end because you're going somewhere else. So he makes us realize that we are going somewhere, because he says that he will meet with his pilot face to face. So there's someone who will receive him at the other end, where his life will continue. So we see this theme evidently portrayed in this poem. And lastly, there, time. Yes, this is one of the prominent themes in the poem, because it's talking about time. The reader is meant to understand that there is time for everything, and this time takes permission from no one to occur. Death will come as and when it will come, and as such, time will not wait for anybody. So the time to be born and the time to die is in that sunset, evening star, and one clear call for me. When the call comes, you just have any moment or the time the call comes, you just have to answer that call. You see, it's just also not to bother about the time of death, but to embrace it. You cannot tell death, wait for me, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. No, when death comes, you just have to embark on. So what you should do in preparation for the time death will arrive is to ensure that you do good things and conduct yourself well and behave well, so that when death comes, it means you prepared, ready, willing, and eager to embark on the journey. My dear students, now this is where we will draw the curtain. I want to believe that you have been able to refresh your memory with the brief explanation I have offered, and that with this you will be able to um, have a proper and more detailed understanding of this poem, so that when you get to the examination, you'll be able to attempt any question that comes uh, from um, this poem. So let me leave you with two questions. Okay, discuss the poem "Crossing the Bar" by Tennyson as a journey of life to death. In short, briefly, just discuss the poem as a journey of life to death. And then I will also appreciate it if you can also attempt this. How does Tennyson see death as homecoming? Does he see it as departing or homecoming? Let me receive your view with respect to that question. If you have any other question for me, kindly go to the comment section, drop your questions there, and I will attend to your questions. I will also be expecting your response to these questions. Till I come your way some other time, I remain your host, Adiyemo Oludare Sunday, Literature in English Language Tutor, Srigate College, Isharemo, Ogun State. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you some other time. Bye.